Hey, buddy. Welcome to Sunday, November 3rd, 2024. And this is Level Up, Episode 2. In this series, it is my goal to share with you tips and tools to help you organize your time, set and achieve goals, and make your dreams come true. With that said, I want to share with you that I will be relying heavily on my notes as this is a pre-recorded video, but I want to ask in advance, please give me grace because this is something that I don't normally do, but it's something that I think is important. And my hope and my intention is to share something that will indeed benefit you in the long run. So thank you for taking this journey with me, and let's get started. One of the things that I talked about in episode 1 is the fact that despite the fact that I have a very full schedule, and yes, some would say I'm a very busy person, I achieve a lot of the things that I do because I've organized my time and I structure my day in such a manner that I'm able to do the things that I say I'm going to do. The reason that I do that is because I literally plan everything, sometimes as far as a month or more in advance. And for you, my recommendation and my encouragement is first to set your intention, to set your goal. If your goal is to start a YouTube channel or exercise daily, which is something you might not be currently doing, whatever your goal is, I'm not trying to tell you what your dream should be. I'm merely going to be your cheerleader and support person as you help to make those dreams come true. Now, number one, in order to get ready to do something new, you need to make room for that new thing. It starts with deciding what you're giving up or stopping. It is best to give up or stop doing something that no longer serves you. For example, if your goal is to eat healthy for the next 90 days, one of the things you probably want to give up is carbonated beverages and maybe the 8 o'clock ice cream that you might have. I don't know what your thing is, what your intention is, but for me, I'm just being transparent. One of my bad habits used to be the moment that I got ready to go to bed, I had to have an ice cream. Well, I decided I no longer wanted to have the weight problems that I was having, to have the inconsistent glucose levels that I was dealing with. So I cut out the bad behaviors that were encouraging my body to not process the food that I was putting in properly. I made healthier food choices, and those things have benefited me in the long run. So that's why I say you have to give up something in order to do something new. The key of all of that is to remember we all have 24 hours in our day. No matter how much we have the intention of doing a new thing, if you don't intentionally make time for it, you will not make it happen or you will not stick to it. So let's say your goal is to get up every morning and go exercise. Well, I know when I was capable of setting that as a goal for myself, one of my setups for success was to literally lay out the clothes that I was going to wear to the gym the next morning, put my tennis shoes by the bathroom door. Of all places, why did that work? Because I knew I had to go to the bathroom every morning when I got up. I knew that once I washed my face and brushed my teeth and put my hair in a ponytail, I'm halfway there. All I got to do is throw on the clothes that I've got laying right there to put on. And right by the bathroom door were those tennis shoes. So I slipped them on, headed out my room, grabbed my keys and my bag, and I was out the door and off to the gym. Goal accomplished. I set myself up for success and I was able to achieve it. And the initial beginning of exercising or anything else in my life starts with me writing down that goal. If I set a goal that I'm going to do whatever it is, I first write it down in my planner or my journal. I put it in my phone with a reminder that at this time I'm going to do X. And because I've written it and I've typed it, I am more than likely going to do it. I create a pathway for success by having a visual reminder that that's what my intention is. Previously, in episode 1, I showed you my gratitude journal and my planner. My daily exercise or my day structure simply begins as this. I start the morning out with writing my gratitude journal and I double check my calendar. This is how I know exactly what I'll be talking about in my videos every day. I create a post-it for anything that I need to research for future videos. I stick that on my phone so that once I'm done filming, I can go back and review what I need to know for the next video. Before I close my planner, I transfer any updated information or action plan to my phone on my digital calendar. And I create alarms so that I know that if I'm supposed to call Mrs. So and so at 10 o'clock in the morning to discuss whatever, I set a note in my digital calendar so that at 10 o'clock I'm calling Miss So and so, and I set an alarm that at 9:50 I get an alarm that says call Miss So and so. From there, I'm set up for success. That way, no matter what's going on, I'm not too busy to remember to do whatever it is that was my intention. The next thing I need to share with you is that I created and I maintain a dry erase calendar that posts my entire video schedule a month in advance. So currently, as I'm filming this, today's date is October 31st. With that said, the entire November calendar is on my dry erase calendar. It's hooked to the outside of my closet door. And forgive me as I look over there because I can literally see it. But I do that because I go in and out of that closet multiple times a day, whether I'm getting supplies that I need because that's where my mini stockpile is, or I'm changing clothes, or whatever the circumstance that brings me to that closet. The very first thing I see is that calendar. So I know that today is Thursday. So it was book of the day. And as such, I have seen multiple times that these are the books that I'm going to be discussing in November. No, I'm not going to tell you in advance what they are, but I will say I know each and every one of those books. If I'm using those books or I misplace one of those books, 9 times out of 10, I either have a backup to access it, or I know that I need to go and retrace my steps so I can find that book. But the point of it is, everything that I need to set myself up for success in November is already on that calendar. And halfway through the month of November, I'm going to sit down and write out what my ideas are for things that I want to film about in the month of December. Again, well in advance so that if I need to change something, I've got room to do it. This is how I set myself up for success. My dry erase calendar, by the way, is exclusively YouTube content related. It doesn't have any personal details or information on it so that I'm not overwhelmed and bogged down. That is merely for YouTube. Everything else goes in my personal planner, and then I merge that information on a day by day or a week by week basis. So I'm never looking at my schedule and thinking, I have so much to do. I'm too busy to do whatever. I can make room for anything. I just need to truncate the information so that I can get it done. As a weekday content creator, which for me is new, I've only been a content creator since July. I was unsure of how I was going to reach my target audience. I tried and failed at being somebody I wasn't. I'll be very vulnerable and transparent with you about that. When I first started, I did the full face of makeup, and I thought, oh, I have to talk about things this way and I have to present things that way. It was so inauthentic that I felt phony. And I'll be honest with you, if you go back and look at those videos, they're cringy. And they're cringy because I wasn't being my authentic and natural self. When I took away the things that aren't true to me, then I felt like myself and I was able to reveal what it was that I genuinely wanted to bring across to the audience. And I knew that people who started following me, who were looking for what I gave them then, may not like what I brought to the table now. But the reality is, in the case of YouTube, you will find your audience when you find your voice. So, that being said, forgive me, I'm always getting text messages. They get a glance, but they don't get my full attention. The other thing I did was I accepted who I am. You clearly see the same thing I see when I look into the camera you're seeing on television or whatever device you're watching me on. I have pigmentation changes in my face that aren't necessarily visually appealing to everybody. I'm not visually appealing to everyone, and that's okay. That just means you're not my audience. But the people who are here, who interact with me and who communicate with me, they're here for the information. They're not here because, oh, her name's Michelle, so I have to follow her. No. They're not here because I'm a woman of color. They're not here because I'm a woman. They're not here because I'm a Gen Xer. They're here, I hope, because I present information in a manner that's entertaining, educational, and informative. That's my whole goal. If they're here for other reasons, just like I said very early in my videos, everybody's here for a reason. I don't know what it is, and it's not my business. I'm just glad to have you. And I love you for being here. The other reason of dropping the makeup was I had to address my fears. And in addressing my fears, once I no longer had fear of failure, everything else was easy. By the way, just so you know, I didn't wake up and decide I'm fearless. I shall do whatever. No, I actually recognized that I was drowning and I was failing. I am not an inauthentic person in any capacity. The same person that you're seeing on YouTube is the same person you would run into in real life. I am a human being. I am flawed. I make mistakes. But at the same time, I give grace to people and I ask that grace be given to me. So once I embraced the most natural parts of myself, I was able to do the things that I wasn't comfortable doing in the beginning. The other thing I did was I applied the tools of my life that are working in other venues and in other areas to my YouTube life, such as having a schedule, setting up a time of expectation that this is the first thing I'm going to do because this is when my life is clearest. I'm clearer mentally in the morning than I am in the evening. Ironically, I'm filming this at 6:54 in the evening. That's not a normal time for me, but this is a great time for us to have this conversation. Um, the way I got to the mindset that I could do that was I simply did a self assessment. What do I like about what I'm doing? What do I not like? I eliminated the things I don't like. I embrace the things that I do. And I continue to do those things while adding on the things that I know work for me. I am a regimented person. I like predictability. So, predictability in my videos meant that I was more able to come across as authentic and comfortable with what I was doing. The other thing is for me, predictability equals actionability. If I can predict what I'm going to do, I'm able to achieve it simply because I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't go in blind to things very easily. In fact, that's usually when I say no. Timers help me stay on track. I am a timer girl, as you heard me say earlier. Um, I'm not going to go into a grand detail of every single timer I set or why I do it. Let's just say I'm busy. This works for me. But let me explain the translation of busy versus productive. Busy means I have a lot of things to do. Productive means I actually get them done, not startitis and didn't get it finished. That's not me. Um, a prime example, people often ask me, how do you run a full time daycare? Have family engagements that you take care of your adult child. And I have to say adult child only because he does have intellectual limitations that require my engagement and input, and still manage to have a YouTube channel and crochet. Well, what I do is I set a timer with the expectation that this is my window. My prime crochet time is during nap time during my daycare. Currently, my kids take 2 naps a day. So that means that during that window, I set a timer for 30 minutes. I set myself up for a success. I grab all the tools and all the accessories that I need to crochet, including my pattern, my yarn, any notions, a darning needle, scissors, the hook that I'm going to use. And I set up an audiobook or music so that I have some mindless entertainment that allows me to concentrate for just 30 minutes. Then I hit start. And for 30 minutes, I do nothing but crochet. If I get a text message, an email, a phone call, none of that gets my attention for 30 minutes. Unless it's a particular ringtone indicating it's one of the children's families, I don't answer. My own children don't get answers. Well, my son does. He's the exception, but he never calls. That being said, 30 minutes, I concentrate on crochet. I don't get up to go pee. I don't get up to get something to eat or drink or allow myself to be distracted for 30 minutes. I can do 30 minutes. Once that timer goes off, even if I have silence from the children where I could still continue to crochet, I stop. At that moment, I require myself to stop. I give my hands the opportunity to stretch. I stand up. I walk around. I move my body. I get something to drink. If I need to go to the facilities, I take care of that business. I, grab something to eat if that's a requirement of myself. If in that 5 minute set, I needed to make a quick phone call or I needed to check my emails, whatever needs to be done, I do it within that 5 minute system. And then once that 5 minutes is over, I determine whether or not I can return for 15 more minutes to crochet. If the answer is yes, then again, I return to the same policy. No answering emails, no looking at television, no listening to something that can be distracting or disturbing. I concentrate on my crochet. And then when the timer goes off, I repeat the process. I do that over and over again as long as that window of opportunity is available to me. Once that window closes, I don't try to multitask of crocheting and watching the children and turning on YouTube. One, because YouTube is not a part of their structure. Their structure is playtime, circle time, educational activities and opportunities with me, their instructor, their facilitator, their entertainment. At the end of the day, then we switch over and they get free time. That will include music, videos, and things like that that entertains them as we prepare for their parents to return and them to go home and enjoy their evening. From there, I prioritize family engagement. I spend time with my daughter. I discuss things with friends, family, neighbors if I need to go to the store or to my P.O. box or whatever I need to do. At that time, I do those things. That's not a very long window, but it's a window enough for me to get those things done. From there, I get a phone call from my son and I chat with him. I take a shower. I set myself up for success. If I need to make notes that I've learned throughout the day for the next day's video, then I do that. I lay out my journal, my planner, the notes that I have set up, pre-written for the next day's video. The only thing I'm going to be plugging in the next day is if there's anything special about my coffee and what the weather is. I have everything else pre-written. I'm set up for success. I take myself to bed. I have a crochet project that I might exclusively be doing in my bedroom. That's right next to my bed. I pick it up as I get into the bed and I crochet. I watch YouTube until I'm too tired to do anything else. I turn it off, I lay it down, I go to sleep. And we start again the next day. It's as simple as that. PDR, practice, drill, repeat. So, as you know, I've shared a lot with you today. I hope that some of the things that I've said with you were things that sparked an opportunity for you to do something unique and different. And maybe they are tools that you'll want to add to your toolbox so that you can be more successful in the things that you're trying to do. I do have a couple of requests and comments for you. Number one, I'm going to ask that you like this video. If you're enjoying this series, leave me that information below that. You know, how, if any of this information has been helpful to you, what your goal might be at this point, or what are you going to use this series to help you achieve? Um, I'd love to know if you would be interested in doing a live with me as I set up my calendar for the next month. That will be something that I would love to do with you, but I'll only do that with you in that setting if that's something you're interested in. So please leave the comments below and let me know if you'd like to do a live with me as we go over how I set up my monthly calendar. The other thing I do annually, although in July I threw it out the window because I completely redirected my life by introducing YouTube to my plan, was I set up an annual dream board or a vision board. I call it my dream board because these are things I dream I can do. And if I dream it, then I write it down. If I write it down, then I make it happen. But I create one usually in the late November, early December time. And I'd be happy to to either do a video about how I do it or even a live if that's something you guys want to do. I also create or I adopt a word for my year. This year's word, when I say this, you're going to think, she's making that up. No, I'm serious. My word for 2024 was achievement. And I have achieved so many different things simply because my focus and my intention was achievement. I'm going to set a goal. I'm going to achieve it. I held myself to the standards that it took to achieve said goals. And so far, we're days shy of November. I'm doing pretty good. My track record has me very pleased with how I'm coming out so far. With that said, I have given you so much information. What I haven't given you is the understanding that I do all of this and I say all of this because I love you. By the way, I hope when I read your comments to learn more about you, what you're trying to do, what you're setting your goals for. And I will be engaging with you in the comments as well. Um, if you're interested in doing the dream board activity, or if you're interested in doing the monthly calendar, do me a favor. Leave the teacher emoji. Just type teacher in your emoji area and it'll show you the emoji that I'm talking about. And especially if it's the dream board, put 2. The reason I'm asking for that is because I will need to cultivate a supply list, and I'll make sure that I drop that supply list below your comment. With that said, I hope this was informative and fun for you. If you got a lot out of it, feel free to watch it again so that you can catch some tips that you might have missed the first time. And certainly, please share this with a friend that you think this would be a journey you'd like to share with them, or that it might help them. With that said, thank you for your time. Thank you for giving me grace. And you, please, have some fun today and level up. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.